Hello friends, here with a Lonesome Gamer, and I'm still playing Tainted Grail. And I gotta admit, I got a growing feeling of frustration here. I really have to question the design decision to basically throw you into a mystery and where you just wander around and have no clue what's going on. I don't know if that is a terribly clever way to try to introduce someone into a game. There might be reasons to do it. I can't see them, but still I wonder if this is the best idea. Anyways, let's continue this. I definitely want to make it through the first or through the second chapter. And that's kind of another issue here, the fact that you just don't know how long this can go anymore. For all I know, I could be playing here for another 10 hours just through the second chapter. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I don't really see what to do, and it's that makes it hard for me. It would be sometimes easier if I would know, okay, you just play on for 2 hours and then you can have a break or something like that, and maybe then come back later to this. But in this way, it kind of feels like, you're just marching through the dark and hoping to touch a wall at some point or something like that. Okay. Anyways, these guys. Let's go through the procedure of the day. So we gotta reduce the menus again. Okay. Next event card. I think it's this. Yeah, that's probably it. Good weathers. Your first travel today costs one energy less. Experienced journeymen know to make the most of decent weather while it lasts. That is good. So, we're ready to go, I guess. So my idea was to go here and activate that menu. Now let's see. We're gonna need energy, a wound, wealth, and magic. We have wealth here. Okay, I think we're ready to go. So we both spent 1 energy to go here, and then I'm gonna spend a second energy, both of us, to move to whitening. There we are. Nice. Okay, draw a blue encounter card when you enter this location. Okay, let's hope it's not too bad. Curfew. Okay, due to some terrible crime, the local guards enforced a strict curfew. Okay, so let's see how this works. Okay, so something strange just happened. It's a real mystery. Do you know these situations when you really doubt your mind and something like, am I dreaming this? Is this really real? And I'm a little bit in this situation now because basically I'm missing one of these cards, right? I'm pretty sure about that. There should be a third card. I mean, I'm pretty sure about that. I kind of know that I used this card already, and I know how it should look like and all that, I mean, so I know there should be a third card, and Okay, fine. So I missed that card. Okay, I searched basically everywhere, and it's not such a big room, but I couldn't find it. Well, this can happen, right? This is not such a big deal. The thing is, the cards are bigger than the others, so basically you can be sure that it's not going to happen that they slip somewhere inside such a such a deck or something. I checked this deck here, the location deck, because it has the same size. They're not in there, and okay, I just don't know where this card is. Well, fine. I know there are 3 more cards of this in the box. You know, overall there are 9 cards. 9 of these cards. Is that true? Oh yeah, exactly. 3. Wait a minute. Now I'm getting confused. It said 9 cards, 9 help cards. Yeah, and you can actually see it here. You know, 3. So there should be 2 more help cards in there. And I opened the box, and these cards are there, but not the combat cards. And that's when I really was getting suspicious. I have no clue where these combat cards are, and that makes me feel a little uncomfortable. You know, if just the 1 card was missing, that would be fine. But also the other 3, that is weird. Anyway, there is nothing I can do about that right now. Maybe they show up. I hope they will. So I have to use the rules instead. Okay, let's see. First we got to draw, okay, the traits of the encounter. I think it's diplomacy. Okay, now we have to pick a character, and of course we're going to go with her. She's our best diplomat. So we're going to draw 3 cards here. Okay, now let's see that and we gotta place a marker here on the gray starting space, and now we're gonna kick this off. Okay, so I played the Eye for Detail card, and so we have a connection here, and if we look here up what that means, the symbol here, so this brings up it brings up this thing 1 space, because there is what is that? This is the caution. The caution symbol matches this. And now, after that, we can play the Sweet Lies. And oh fuck, I can't do that. I can't do that. Yeah, that sucks. That's an issue. That's bad. Because I cannot make the connection here. That's bad. Yeah, no, can't do it. I wonder if I should avoid this thing. Well, I'm going to try to do it anyway. We got the stall for time. We're going to play this one. Place it here. And that allows us to ignore the opponent's response. Okay. And yeah. So that happens. We ignore the response, and now it's the other guy. Let's hope he doesn't mess up things too badly. Basically, we only need 2 more points somehow. Nah. Okay, that's an option. Might makes right. Yeah, that's good. I have a lot of aggression here, so we can impress these suckers. I'm simply going to play this one. And I lose 1 reputation. That doesn't matter because I don't have any. So now this goes 2 spaces up, 1 for each of my of my aggression. So that means I made it. I won this encounter. That wasn't too hard. Lucky me. Okay, great. Okay, so as a reward, we gain 1 energy. I'm going to give that to him. Will I? Yeah. I mean, someone has to activate that menhir. That costs 3 energy. Maybe I should give the energy to her. Okay, I think that's a better idea. So I'm going to give the energy to her. And then we're going to activate the menhir. And because I'm 1 less player, I'm pretty sure we only have to pay that once. So yeah, it's 3 energy, 1 wound, 1 wealth, and 1 magic. And it's a menhir with 8 that will show up there. There is our menhir, and this is possibly the most impressive one, at least in my opinion. I mean, they all look really, really great, but this one is really amazing. So yeah, let's place him here, and we need a dial. And this is the last one, by the way, so there cannot be more than 3 menhirs active at the same time, I guess. So it should be at, wait a minute, it should be at 8, yeah, so we're gonna, what? Like this, huh? Okay, great. So now we're allowed to place these 2 cards here adjacent. This is number 117 and number 114. Okay, so we found Tamgla root. And that's where we can gather food. For many years, travelers worked to turn this overgrown gorge into a trail. Despite their efforts, it is still a confusing maze. So this thing shows up here. Okay. And we have here the first farmhold. Draw a purple encounter when you enter this location. The first foothold of Avalon's conquerors, now ruined and abandoned, just like its menhir. Okay, but you cannot light a menhir there. So, okay, what is it we're gonna go? I wonder, I mean, I could go north, but I think it's definitely interesting to go to the first farmhold. We might get some valuable informations there. So yeah, I think that's where I want to travel. So we can still go back and then up. In the end, I kind of want to go more northeast, I think. But yeah, as I said, yeah, I think for now we might simply go north anyway. Okay, so let's go here. And first I'm going to place the 119 and 115 card. So this is a beautiful map. And we found the derelict fleet. Many a ship once arrived, once carried eager men to Avalon. Now they all rest here. And over here we have the Titan step where we can install our next menhir. On their way to Camelot, pilgrims used to leave rocks under one of the cliffs. Today, ramps of pebbles make the journey faster, though not much safer. So we got to draw a purple encounter because we entered here, and I remembered to pay the energy for the travel. I just did that. So she is nearly exhausted. So we're going to have to rest here. But first we got to draw the purple encounter here. And this is an apparition. Your fears personified. Opportunist. Okay, so if I remember that right, we need, luckily we still have the taints here, we need to play at least 2 cards. Yeah, otherwise she does the opportunity attack. So I got something here, this thing, the 4-dweller bauble, prevent 1 wound and 1 terror in purple encounters. So, okay. So I think she might actually be the first one to do the attack. Receive 1 unavoidable wound with each attack if you have any terror. That sucks. Maybe I'm gonna take the other one instead. That's really not that great. Yeah, maybe I should then start. I think I prefer to start with the other guy. Okay, we need 6 of these markers. And we get 1 magic if we manage to win this thing. So I'll be back. I don't know if I'm going to show you the whole combat. It's often pretty exhausting, but we'll see. Okay, actually I'm going to show this. I started with a powerful blow, which is pretty good. So immediately I'm going to lose 1 energy, but that's fine anyway, because we wanted to rest after this turn, right? Because she is already at 0 energy, or at, well, close to exhaustion. And we do 3 damage, which is pretty awesome. And then we're going to place a time marker here. Okay, and this is pretty much it. Now it's her attack. And basically what happens is she simply... Oh no, if I don't play 2 cards... But that's okay, I'm gonna accept that. So I'm gonna get... She's gonna do the opportunity thing, and I'm gonna gain 1 terror, but that's okay. It's not terrible, we can rest, right? So now that we actually... she does the attack here, so she's gonna recover, and we're gonna lose 1. And but now the other lady starts, and I think she can now activate that delayed thing. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. There we go. So now it's her, and she's going to remove this, and that means there'll be 2 of these. So we're now at 4, which is pretty good. We only need 2 more. I don't know if she can do it, but there's at least a good chance. That looks pretty promising. Okay, so I think the way I want to do that is I want to play the support. And that would allow me to add 2 charges to any card in the sequence, but that doesn't happen. But now I can play the throw. As a second card, there's going to be a connection here. Oh, fuck, I cannot do that because I don't have any aggression. I gotta figure out something else then. Great. Shit. Okay, I gotta do it in a different way. I gotta basically start with the throw. Ah, that looks not good. I think I cannot play 2 cards. That sucks. Okay, so I think I'm actually gonna have to start with a crippling strike. Okay, so this gives me 1 damage. And now let me see if I can play another card. Yeah, I should be able to play this one. But first I gain 2 charges here. And when he attacks, I can pay 1 charge. And then I lose 1 less combat cubes and I draw a card. Anyway, so I think, yeah, I'm gonna play this one now, place it here. I can do that because I have my what is that? Courage. Damn, I need some aggression, but it's super expensive to get aggression for me. I need 6 experience to buy me 1 aggression, but it seems like I have to do it once at some time. Okay, add 2 charges now to any card in the sequence, and now I can actually do it. I can place those here, which is kind of sweet. And what's going on? I mean, I can basically do nothing. I just played a 2nd card, right? And can I play a 3rd card? No, I can't because I'm not aggressive. So that means at least I managed to avoid the opportunity because I played 2 cards. And that guy is at 5 wounds, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So he's gonna lose 2 wounds, but I can now spend this and I lose 1 less. So I'm only gonna lose 1 and I can draw a card. Sweet. Okay, so now we're gonna each draw 1 card anyway. And the combat continues. And it's him, and I'm pretty sure he can finish her off now. Just 2 more wounds. He's a good fighter, that should be possible, especially because of this double sign here, right? So we can do a lot of damage if we find something. Actually, you know, I think I should get back the energy because I didn't play... Did I play the powerful blow? Oh yes, I did. That's interesting, I have this thing again. Okay, so I don't want to play that again because I don't want to lose more energy. So what about this? Oh, wait a second. Actually, because I have terror, I will take 1 wound. Ah, I see. I forgot about that. And he... Did I do it with him? I think he didn't have any terror at that point. So... Wait a minute. I gotta get this timing right. Okay, so here's the thing. Actually... Receive 1 unavoidable wound with each attack, and that seems to be a taint, so it possibly happens at the beginning when you check for taints. No, it says with each attack. Okay, so it probably happens when they attack, or does it happen when I attack? That's tricky. Receive 1 unavoidable wound with each attack if you have any terror. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I assume we're talking about the enemy's attack here. I guess, right? Okay, and because the opportunity happens before the enemy's attack, I actually should have also lost 1 wound. Pretty sure about that. Oh boy. Yeah, no, that's true. So this clearly sucks. I think what I have to do is maybe I should have played I could have played the ignore pain, because then if I would have gained another wound, this sucker would have gained also one. But yeah, okay, I missed that because I didn't realize I would gain a wound anyway. Okay, what I'm gonna do is, because this is getting dangerous, right? I mean, we're losing here wounds and all. So I think I'm gonna finish him off with a powerful blow now, and I'm gonna accept that I'm gonna go into exhaustion. That's okay. So we're gonna do the powerful blow. The guy is killed, and I'm pretty sure that there's nothing. Let me see. Playing cards. Oh yeah, it says the opportunity attack will happen before the victory. Fuck. So maybe I can. Excuse me. Maybe I can play a second card. Yes, I can. Yeah, I can. You know, I can forfeit this bonus, play a second card here, and that's good. And then I'm fine. And there is not going to be another opportunity attack here, and therefore we come now to the victory check, and that means, yeah, I have won the battle, but it wasn't easy. We get one magic as a reward, which is obviously good, and she takes it, and we're done. Okay, so I managed to rest. Sadly, her magic does not recover. Oh shit. I should have lost an extra wound because I became exhausted because of my wound. Oh, that sucked. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. Oh, fine. Can't help it. So, I think that's pretty much it for the day, if I'm not mistaken. We could advance our character, but that's not possible. Nobody has enough experience. The dream. I forgot about the dream. So this is, yeah, card number 117. Let's go to the dream. A tiresome dream of endless siege, defeating constant assaults and hope. Even in the direst situation, the first people on the island never lost hope. And that's the sole reason you are here today. Hint, there's always a way to gather enough resources to light up the next menhir. When you get stuck, explore. Okay, that's good to know. So, okay, we go into the next day. So the menus are reduced, so this is removed and the menu will disappear the next turn. This one goes, oh gosh, and this one goes down one space. This one also goes down a little bit. Okay, great. So then we're going to draw the next event card. Is that the one? Yeah, that's the one, exactly. Dense mists. Each exploration locations without a settlement costs 1 additional energy. So thick you can barely see the tip of your nose. Okay, so this exploration, this is not a settlement, although it's the first farmhold, but the settlement symbols look like this, okay? There can be green ones or red ones. The red ones are more hostile. So, yeah, if we want to explore that and we want to do that, we have to, well, let me check first how to activate that menu. Requires all characters and the menu right, okay? Pay 2 and 2 magic. So yeah, we can do it. We can pretty easily activate this thing. This is good. But first we want to explore the area, right? So we're gonna so we're gonna spend 2 energy. I think everybody has to do it. And now let's read the book 117. Let's find out what awaits us. When humans first set foot on Avalon, they occupied a small strip of land, ripped away from the weirdness by Arthur's druid Merlin. Besieged by horrors and ancient powers, they razed the round fort of Tainted Grail and survived for 3 young years within its walls, repelling assaults and devising ways to journey deeper inland. After the conquest ended, only a small farmhold remained near the fort. Unfortunately, the local menhir, being the oldest, was also the first to die. If you have part 2 of the Remnant status, the problem is, I'm not totally sure, but I think I missed to mark one of the gain statuses. I hope it's not that one. Yeah, I hope it doesn't have a super big impact. That kind of sucks, but okay. So we can choose now one thing. We can climb the wall, inspect the dead menhir, comb through the remains of the farmhold, visit a nearby watermill, use Secret 33, which we don't have, or leave. Well, it's hard to say. There's a lot to do here. I mean, I think at some point we might want to climb the wall. That sounds definitely interesting. But maybe we should start, see if we find something interesting in the farmhold. So I'm going to go to verse 5. The buildings of the farmhold seem to have shrunk beneath weight and age. Wooden beams supporting thatched roofs bent downwards. Small windows gaze at you with an eyeless stare. You hear rustling and notice something, or someone, excuse me, trying to hide inside a hut. It turns out to be a miserable vagabond. He stands in front of you, terrified, hungry and cold. His filthy rags are not doing much of a job at covering his bruised body. Give him something, pay 1 food or 1 wealth. If you have 3 or more reputation, go to verse 11, otherwise to verse 14. We don't have enough food. I'm afraid. You know, I'm really not sure. I mean, the thing is, I could gather food here, but yeah, it seems really I don't really have that much food. I have only 3 food. We're gonna need 2 at the end of the day. I mean, I could spare 1 maybe, right? And yeah, maybe I should do it. It's tricky. I don't know if I should do it. 3 or more reputation, go to verse 11. Okay, I'm gonna give him a food. maybe it helps. Ah, damn, I don't know, man. What do we need to start this thing? Do we need food to light this menhir? No, we don't. Okay, I'm gonna give him some food. Why not? As you give the ragged man some of your supplies, his eyes meet yours. He has heard of you. Only by virtue of this fact, he tells you about 2 unsettling events he witnessed recently. First, about a fortnight ago, a procession of hermits and beggars, led by a young red-haired man, went through the ruins, a river of rags and bad odors. They disappeared into the east. Then, several nights ago, horrible screams came from the inside the fort, where some stonemasons were camping. It has been quiet since then. After this brief chat, the vagabond blesses you and goes on his way. Each party member who has 1 or more of those empathy gains 1 terror. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Fuck. That's pretty bad. The other guy doesn't, but she is not in a great shape. Maybe I should consider... shit. I really should try somehow to bring her terror down, but it's really not easy. I can only do that with the menhirs. Okay, well... that wasn't great. Okay, so what do we do now? This guy is down to... I cannot explore with him without getting exhausted again. Boy, this sucks. Is there anything else we can do? Maybe I can explore with her on my own. You know, that sounds like an interesting choice. I could visit the watermill, for example. I better want to climb the wall of the fort together with him, but I could visit the watermill on my own. I think I want to do that. So I'm going to explore a second time. I'm going to spend 2 more because of the mist, and then I'm going to go to verse 9. Between the first farmhold and Whitening, there's a swift river with a lone watermill sitting on its bank. The keeper of the mill announces, "My lord, I'm sorry. There's no gold currently available. Please try again next week." Who did he take you for? Amused by the situation, you lose 1 terror. That's good. That's awesome. If you don't have part 1 of the strange encounter status, and we don't have that, that's good, then gain part 1 of the strange encounter status. Okay, that was a good decision, actually. So I guess it is time to rest again. And problem is we don't have a lot of food remaining. Okay, there's nothing we can do about it right now. I'm going to spend my food, rest here in the first farmhold, and that means I can regain some health and my energy. This guy also heals and regains his full energy. Okay, great. But what are we going to do now? Okay, so first we got to do this menu goes away, we go to the next day. That means, what does it mean? It means that these cards are removed. Okay. So then we're going to reveal the next event. And it's again good weather. That is totally awesome. I'm not sure if I actually I might have spent the energy last time, although it wasn't necessary. I think I did that, but okay, that doesn't matter. The good thing is now, if we want to go here and hunt, gather food, we can do that now with one less energy. We can get there in an easier way, right? So I think we might still have now the chance for entering the first farm mode here. So we're going to do another exploration, both of us. And this time I want to climb the walls of the fort. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to inspect the dead men here, so I think I want to climb the walls. As you walk around the ring fort, you discover no gate or any other visible entrance. Only the remains of a wooden crane atop the wall. In ancient times, defenders used a system of winches and large wicker baskets to haul people and cargo. Now the only way to enter it is to scale a slick stone wall. Roll a die. Add one for each point of your practicality and caution. And +2 if you have the Adventurer Kit item card, which we do have. Check the total result. Awesome. So let's do that. We have a caution, and we have, so we can basically add 4, right? So let's hope for the best here. That's a 6. I mean, that's not that great, but it's something. And it's good enough. We go to verse 6. If you're playing chapter 13, nope. You have successfully climbed the stone wall. Now you can look into the fort when someone set up camp recently. Most of the tents are collapsed and sprayed with blood. One seems to be intact. In the middle of the courtyard, a massive hole gapes. Descend into the courtyard and search through the remnants of the camp. Yes, we want to do that. As you get down from the wall, you look around the destroyed camp and find it deserted. The only tent still standing is on the other side of a large hole in the ground. There's also a pile of what looks like a slimy rags to the left. Like slime. Oh, yeah. Place 1 time token on this location card. Let's do that. Okay, we have now a few options. You can search the nearby damaged tents, search the tent on the other side of the hole, inspect the hole, inspect the slimy pile, leave this place. Okay, I think I want to go to the other tent first, so I'm going to go to 12. This tent somehow remained intact, though its occupant is gone. The stain on the ground you first took for blood is spilled ink. There's a half-written work log on the table, written by a master stonemason. It seems he and his apprentices were trying to repair the nearby menhir and prepare the ring fort for use under orders from Camelot. However, under the fort they found something that shouldn't be there. One of the recent entries reports they hired one additional worker, a smith from Connacht by the name of Airfear, who turned out to be a great help. The log cuts off abruptly. You direct your attention to other items scattered around the tent and discover some valuables. If you don't have the stonemason's secret status, gain that status and 1 wealth. Mark part 8 of the Fate of the Expedition status. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, oh God. Okay, great. Go to verse 7. So maybe we have now the option to continue our exploration. No. Roll die and add 2 for each time token on this location. Okay, there's 1 time token here. So let's do it. Okay, that is a 6. That sounds questionable. The ground shakes briefly. It can't be good. Go back to verse 3. So I think we shouldn't wait there too long. Still, I think I should inspect the hole. Go to verse 8. Okay. The edges of the hole have already collapsed, but still show signs of spades and pickaxes. An excavation leads to a human-made tunnel, far older than the dugout. The stench coming from the hole reminds you of spoiled milk. As you can see from up here, blood-stained stones line the tunnel. Could it be a secret way out of the fort? If you're playing Bear, I don't think we... Oh yes, actually we do. And you don't have part 3 of the final lesson status. Go to verse 16. I'm pretty sure I don't have that, right? Ah, gosh. Final lesson. No. So that means we got to go to verse 16. A glint on the floor catches your attention. It's a broken blade of a small knife. A knife you made for Airfear during your apprenticeship, with which he never parted. Your master must be gone. You grit your teeth. You have to be strong. After all, you're now Quanacht's only blacksmith. Oh. Bayo gains 1... excuse me. I think that could be either spirituality or... what is that? Courage. And part 3 of the final lesson. Go back to verse 8. Okay, what do we prefer? Spirituality or courage? I'm gonna take the spirituality. I got a couple of combat cards or of diplomacy cards which work with spirituality. So I think it's probably good to have at least one here, right? Okay, and then I get this final lesson status. Is it something special? Wait, where was that? Where was that? Yeah, great. Ah, here we go. Yeah, that's it. The final lesson, exactly. Okay. Well, great. There are... I think it was part 3. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm not left-handed, so it's a little hard for me to do it, but it works. So we go back to 8. We don't have the ladies' task quest card, I think. So we got to now we could go into the tunnel, right? Yeah, why not? I mean, let's go for it. This is an exploration game, so I think it's pretty crazy, though. I mean, maybe we shouldn't really. I think I'm gonna go for it. This is about exploration and adventure. So let's give it a try. It's obviously pretty crazy, but is it really time doing that? You know, there's some weird monster inside that tunnel. But on the other hand, we want to find out what happened to this blacksmith and all. I don't know, maybe it's... okay, so it's 1, 3, 4. There's still way. Maybe we can run backwards if something goes wrong. Okay, let's find out what this is. A horrifying, enormous worm. Yeah, that was pretty clear. And I think this is it. I think we're done at that point. Emerges from under the ground. There's no choice but to run as fast as legs can carry you. Each party member loses 6 wounds, reduced by their caution. Okay, that means we're basically all done. This lady is at 0. And this guy is also at 0. So it seems like this is pretty much it. Yeah, I think what happens now? I mean, we are dying. Okay, we are both dying basically. You can only carry 3 items whenever you receive a gate. Okay, so that's pretty bad, and it seems, I don't know, I think I'm done here. Yeah, I think this is it. We don't have any food left, so I guess that's it. I think this is pretty much over. Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna carry on here. This is no fun anymore. I think I'm gonna call it at that point. Not so much, I mean, you know, I could, if I wanted to carry on, I could simply say, okay, forget about this encounter. But honestly, I don't want to do that. I'm not so happy with the game, and you know, I kind of played it now more or less to the end, and I'm not. I think it's fine to call it at that point. I got a pretty good impression on how it works, what's going on here, and I think you do too after watching that. So I'll be back in a minute, and I'll think about this whole thing a little longer before I give away a few words here. Okay, so a few words about this. And I thought a lot about this game, actually, and okay, so first a little bit about the components, and in general I want to say this is a really good quality product, you know, overall. The components are really good. I really like these sheets, you know, with the, well, it doesn't all, you know, it's kind of fixed in here, and that's, I really like that concept. The metal coins, okay, I mean, they did cost me an additional $10. The miniatures, yeah, they look nice, but again, the monster miniatures, I don't know really. I think they did cost me an additional $50 plus another $50 for the monster miniatures for the expansions. Yes. And yeah, the artwork is really beautiful. There is absolutely no doubt about this. But let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. I would argue that the gameplay mainly consists of 3 main parts. I think here on the map, 90% of what's going on is kind of a resource management game. You got your energy that you gain at the beginning of the day, and you basically convert that energy in all kinds of other things, with the goal in the end to continue the story, right? So you might need food, so you use your energy to hunt. You might need magic, you go to a place and exchange your energy there, can gain reputation, whatever. And of course, for many things, for most actions, you need energy in itself. So there is, yeah, this is definitely an important part of the game. And I would say it's not a terribly interesting part. Maybe on the contrary, it feels often pretty limiting, and especially the things that you have to gain food every day, so you got to go back sometimes, delay the story, try to hunt, and then you gotta sleep again to get more energy that you can do better exploration. So I mean, this is, I don't know. I didn't really get a kick out of this part of the game, and I would argue if someone buys Tainted Grail, he doesn't do it because it's an interesting resource management game. Okay. Another aspect of the game here on the map basically is the combat or the diplomacy. And yeah, I can see something appealing there. I thought it had some really, it had some interesting thematic concepts. For example, that, I don't know, if you take a defensive stand or something, you have more options what to do next. Or if you make a very aggressive blow, you have to spend energy, but you do more damage. And if you make your final blow, for example, you do a lot of damage, but you cannot continue doing anything else. And if it then turns out not to be the final blow, it's much less effective. In addition, it's also, you know, for some brutal moves, you need aggression, for example. For others, you need courage, and they do more damage or they are more effective if you have more courage. Stuff like that. I think that works. I think the idea of that is really, really great, and also quite thematic. However, they can drag on quite a bit, you know. I mean, and they are not exactly exciting, right? What you do is you build your queue there or your line, your combat line, and there is something about it, but let's be honest, I think doing 2 or 3 die rolls and say, okay, I want that 6 or I want that 5 is to a certain extent more exciting. You could argue you got more choices here to make, and that is true. I agree. So yeah, but you know, when it comes to that, I would say maybe a game like Mage Knight does it better. You know, if I really go for the puzzle solving combat, I could say, hey, there are definitely more interesting choices. This is kind of in between, you know, there's a little bit of luck involved, but in general, I think you pretty soon get your optimal, after a little bit of experience, it's pretty easy to find the optimal way to lay your cards in the right order, and then it kind of becomes more just a procedural thing, you know, to just try to finish it. You got to shuffle the cards, you got to lay them, and it kind of drags on a little bit. Okay, so we've seen the resource management, we spoke about the combat. I think what it most comes down to, and I think most people will not buy this game for the resource management or for the combat. The main aspect of the game is the exploration journal. It's the story of the game. This is what this is about, right? The goal of the game is basically to read through this book. And when it comes down to it, all the other things, all that crap you see here, you know, the miniatures, the cards, the coins, everything basically just gives you a direction and gives you limitations and all how to read through this book. And that's a big difference to other campaign games. If you think about it, for example, Gloomhaven. I've never played Gloomhaven, got to be honest about that. But from what I from what I've seen and what I guess it plays out, I would say Gloomhaven is a dungeon crawl, right? And what you do in Gloomhaven is 80% of the game, or maybe even more, you go through dungeons, you fight in dungeons, you loot dungeons, and that in itself is the main part and is a lot of fun, you know. And then you get a story which kind of connects all the different dungeons. But in general, it's still a dungeon crawl. Here it's very, very different. Without the story book, I would say forget it. You know, this game is definitely not interesting if you don't have the story. And there is not that much interesting going on. You know, there is just not a lot of fun or excitement in the game. Like, I would imagine that exploring a dungeon in Gloomhaven, even if you don't have a bigger story, gives to you. It's not in here. So, again, this game is 90% about this book. It's about reading through this book. And there comes a little bit of a problem for me, but this is just my personal thing, right? I'm not the biggest fan of fantasy settings. I'm not saying I dislike them, they're okay. I like Runebound or whatever. You know, in general, it's okay for me. I like fantasy books, or that's okay. But in general, I prefer, I don't know, sci-fi or horror or post-apocalyptic settings. So it wasn't that easy for this game to really get my love, right? And I can totally see if people prefer fantasy settings, especially these dark fantasy settings, they might enjoy this a lot more. Still, if a game is mainly about a story, and there's a lot of procedural things going on to guide me through the story, I would argue it has to be a damn good story. Probably better than what you get out of a book. Because reading a book is much easier, it's less of an effort, you know. And I think this is a problem with this, because honestly, I played this now, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours maybe, and I never really was excited about the story. All the encounters, the events in the story felt pretty generic. It's what you expect from your standard, I don't know, or dark fantasy story. But there never was some kind of really crazy twist, or something that really, you know, blew me away. In a way, wow, I didn't expect that. This is crazy. I really want to know how it's going on. Or, you know, you are kind of thrown in there and you immediately find yourself in a mystery, right? Now, if that would be a really crazy mystery, something that is totally, I don't know, something, I don't know, some kind of crazy purple sky where there's a big omen and just something that you totally would not expect, right? You want to know, okay, what's going on there? That would be really interesting for me. For example, I just read a book right now by Stephen King where they're traveling in an airplane and they're falling asleep, and when they wake up, everybody's gone and just a couple of people are still in that plane, although the plane still flies. This is, for me, a pretty crazy mystery, and it's a crazy twist, and I would really like to know what happened there. I never felt that way here. So that makes it hard for me to go on, you know, to go through all this effort, to really, to wander across the landscape and think, okay, how can I unlock the next mystery? How can I find the next clue? How can I get the next secret? How can I read on in this book because it's so super exciting and I want to know what happens? Yeah, this is not the case. If you don't really get that feeling of excitement, if you don't really get involved in the story that much, this becomes more and more just an exercise of, I don't know, yeah, okay, let's light the next menu and let's try to read on and let's see if something interesting happens. Okay, you meet this guy, you can give him some food. Okay, you get this piece of information, you can go north and maybe you find something more interesting there. Okay, there is another person and she sends you west and maybe I've heard from some people of your company or of the party you're looking for. Yeah, you might go west, maybe you find them there. Okay, great. But this isn't I don't think this is terribly interesting, sorry. I mean, maybe if I play on at some point, it would be very interesting. But I think if you write a story, and this is not about gameplay or something, this is simply about storytelling. If you write some kind of fantasy story, it is probably a good idea to start with something really spectacular. Something that gets the reader on the hook immediately. And then you can let the story develop, and then it might be even a little slower, you can see that, okay, the characters have some dark past and whatever, but I think you need a really strong start to keep you going. And I think it's a pretty bad idea to tell someone, okay, you are sitting in a village and there's a mystery and you have little idea what it actually is, so go on and find it out, and you find some clues in between, and they send you a little bit here and a little bit there, and man, I don't think this is that great. And there it comes to the next point, and this is, of course, the duration of this thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm nobody who is complaining about duration of games. I love long games. I love, and I really despise the people who tell me this is a good game, and you ask them why is it a good game, and they tell you because it's short. And I think this is so stupid. And I've heard that a lot recently. I'm playing a lot of 18xx games, and many people will tell you, especially about the more modern 18xx games, if you ask them why they are good, they will tell you because they're short. And I think this is just, I never get that, If I think a game is interesting and if I think it's a good experience, I don't want it to be short, I want it to be long. But okay, just wanted to tell you, hey, I like long games. I even like very long games if they're good. I played 7 Ages, which is a game that can take you, I don't know, 30, 50 hours. That's totally fine with me if it's a good game. This is a very long game, right? I mean, if you really play the campaign, I don't know exactly how long it is, but I've heard 50 plus. That's something you can expect. I've even read in a comment, I think 70 or even more. I'm not sure, but this game is very, very long. You have the option to save it, put it back on the shelf. That is true. But on the other hand, it's like reading the chapter of a book, put it back in the shelf, and then you better take it out, I would say maybe a week later, but not a year later, because then you're totally disconnected to the story. So basically, if you decide to play this game, you can make maybe a few breaks in between. That's why this saving mechanism is there. But the idea is not to play a chapter, put it back in the shelf for a couple of months, and then play the other chapter. The idea is that you kind of commit yourself to a long journey that you're going to experience with these characters, and that journey will take you many many hours, dozens of hours. And if a game is so long, it has to be an extraordinary good game to come on the table. And I will simply explain you why. Let's say you have a game that is solid, and that's what I would call this game. Sorry, I just can call this a solid game. I would rate this game a 7, maybe an 8. It's a good game, I enjoyed it a little bit, but it's not really one of my favorite games. By far not. Still, I got a lot of these solid games in my collection, and there are reasons. You know, if I ask myself, okay, what game do I want to play now? I don't always play my favorites games. From time to time, I get a game out of the shelf which is not exactly that great, and I still enjoy playing it. And because it gives me a different experience than what I usually get, you know, it gives me some variety to what I usually get, and maybe it does things that other games don't do. And so yeah, there is definitely a reason also to play games where you would in general say they don't give you quite as much joy as your favorite games. But the thing is, if I get some kind of, I don't know, let's say I get a touch of Evil, which is a nice game, solid, gives you something different as some other games. This takes me about as long as, I don't know, one of my favorite games, Arkham Horror. So basically, this game competes with one play of Arkham Horror. However, Touch of Evil, Tainted Grail, if I decide to play Tainted Grail, that means I will not be able, or I basically have a competition between Tainted Grail and playing, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 times one of my favorite games. And that is a big, big difference. This is a real commitment. And if I have to make the decision that I play this instead of 15 times some of my favorite games, then this game has to be absolutely on the top of my list of my games. It has to be kind of an 11 instead of a 10, right? It has to be one of the best games that I've ever played because of the time it takes. And that's the big problem that I have with this game, because it just doesn't deliver that experience to me. That might be very different if there would be games, if there would be, for example, let's say the game would come with this, but in addition it would deliver, or it would come with another book which contains, let's say, 7 or 10 campaigns, short campaigns that each take you, I don't know, something like 10 hours, maybe 12 hours. Things would be different then, you know, because there is something about this game. I kind of like some concepts. And then I would say, okay, we can do this on a weekend, right? Or we meet 3 nights with some friends, and then we play the campaign, one of these short campaigns, and perfect. And I could even say more advanced short campaigns so that you can then take your heroes and play another campaign, you know, but I want the story to be really finished after 10 hours. I know after 10 hours I'm done with this game, and then I can put it on the shelf and maybe get it out a year later. And it's great, and I get the same enjoyment out of it again. Then I would really enjoy this game, and I would play it definitely from time to time, and it would have a place in my collection. But honestly, I really don't see myself getting this out again, saying, hey, I'm willing to invest 30 hours or more. Especially now, I know the starting part of this, so I have to play basically through the start again. And No big surprises there. I don't know. This kind of it doesn't really feel definitely not like my game. And what I can see is if you have a group of people and one or two of them are really into this and they really get a kick out of this, you know, then it might be more fun. Just the social aspect, and you travel together and one person reads the story, and it might be a lot of fun then. But, you know, I don't know. For me, here playing solo, I'm not sure, especially on camera, which slows the game down even more. Maybe if I play it without camera, maybe it might be easier, you know, you can go faster through all the things, and the story just doesn't go on forever. It drags on that long. Okay, I don't know. I'm sorry I couldn't be more enthusiastic about this. Especially, I mean, for me, I paid a ton of money for that, and I really hope that would be a fantastic game. It's a solid game, there's no doubt, but overall, simply because of the duration, that is not good enough. That's totally not good enough to get on the table again. So I'm afraid in the end, the only reasonable thing is to sell it. Well, anyways, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and hope to see you in my next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.